Hi everyone, welcome to Reflect with JoJo, and today I'm with a special guest.
Her cousin, Belle.
I wanted to bring her on to share her personal story since I feel like it could be helpful and relatable to me and also to all of you. Belle, can we hear more about you?
So hello, I'm Belle, or you can call me Isabel. I'm a graphic designer. I also do social media management. Very creative girly. I have a tarot account called 𝐼𝐫𝐸 if you want readings from me, and just another account called Unconcealed when I put creative stuff.
So in this video, we are going to be talking about confidence and breaking patterns.
For confidence, we're gonna talk about specific stories we have about our own self-esteem and how we developed our own confidence with things and what we learned. And then for patterns, we're also gonna talk about like how we break certain habits or things we keep repeating in our life.
We're gonna go through a few questions, and the first question we're going to ask, was there a specific moment when you realized you lacked confidence? How did it affect you?
Before I came to the Philippines, which is where I'm based now, and I am Filipino, I came from a country called Papua New Guinea. And I think the moment I realized I lacked confidence was when I went to the Philippines. That sounds kind of sad because the environment was just very different. So I realized it in grade school, maybe around grade 5 to 7 specifically. I would say the reason why I had confidence issues, my self-esteem as well. When it comes to the development of like my social skills or like communication, it was a bit delayed if I have to be honest. I was not like the athletic like my brothers, so they had more opportunities to socialize. Well, I was more of the creative type who would like sit in the back of a classroom writing, doodling, or drawing something. A lot of teachers noticed that about me. I don't think there's anything wrong with being quiet or being more of the creative type, which is what I was. But the problem with me, I was surrounded by people who compared me a bit to my siblings, or like they're like, oh, why is she so quiet? Like I literally had a classmate go up to me and ask me that. I was like, because I have nothing to say. That's what I wanted to say. It honestly affected me in a way where I didn't feel heard or seen as I am. I was just seen as the quiet girl. It's like I grew up a bit repressed, had some resentment towards certain people, but I grew out of that. Because of that as well, I became a very blunt person, but I would say I'm more diplomatic now.
Then what kind of tips would you give to your younger self now that you know your story, now that you've changed over time?
I love you, Isabel. That's what I want. We have so much spark when we're younger. We have so much joy. We're so present that when we get older, we sometimes forget to have that joy of just being yourself or exploring whatever is there. You know, we don't hear too much noise compared to when we get older. So I would just tell my younger self to just keep doing what she likes. Who cares what other people think or say about you? There are people around who actually see you as you are. That's what I would say to her.
No, that's sweet. And also
Yeah.
for people watching too, it doesn't matter how old you are, because I know there are people in different age groups that deal with confidence or like lack of confidence. So I hope this could also help you guys to just do not care of what other people think. I would face like confidence issues in different ways, and that would relate more on like the ambition side or about the career side. When there are requirements regarding with the career I'm pursuing, I question myself like, oh, am I good enough? Like, how do I become better? When you are auditioning for something, or even if you are being interviewed, sometimes you get very nervous and then those thoughts come in. So it's like, obviously in the very beginning, if it's your first time, sometimes it doesn't really go the way that you want it. Sometimes you don't say what you want to share. During that time, I realized, okay, like what are the practical steps for me to improve my performance in front of the judges, or how do I feel more comfortable in performing in front of others? In that way, I realized just through practice and also research, learning, just really diving in and making that practical steps. There's not really one specific situation that challenged my confidence. I think it's just life in general. When you're getting into different things, whether that's like friendships or career or your love life, like when you try new things, sometimes you will question yourself, but all you have to do is just take that step forward. The second question for you guys is, what steps did you take to build confidence and which ones were the most effective? I already shared a bit of mine, but we're gonna go with Isabel.
I think it's just realizing I had my own voice and what I had to say mattered, especially for me. You're only with yourself like for the longest time, even though your family is there for you. I just learned to speak up, to own what I really like, or to be truthful about things. Even though that resulted into arguments, I learning to speak up for myself or just do things I really like without caring too much what others think. Confidence is also a habit also. I think you have to learn how to to build trust with yourself, trusting yourself that even if you don't, something you wanted to do didn't turn out the way you expected, you're still gonna be okay. It's just going for things. Experience builds confidence for me. Making sure you're also surrounded by the right people, that the content you're watching is one that uplifts you, because we're in an age of social media. A lot of people's confidence go down because of what they see online. I think be very mindful about what you decide to watch online. Make sure it's something that really uplifts you. From the inside, I realized like, hey, I have something special about myself. I should just own it. It's just having that validation from yourself rather than externally. That's how I built my confidence.
So Isabel just said a lot of great answers and tips.
So we're gonna talk about patterns now. How does a habit or pattern form?
Okay, so one step is just one step. But as we get older, it becomes a snowball effect where it's like after one step, there's a second step, and there's a third, and then it becomes a part of you at one point in your life. And sometimes we do that unintentionally or subconsciously. Like, this is just who I am. That kind of statement is like an excuse. If you want to improve that behavior, that pattern, there needs to be a change. And that change could be equal to having a new lifestyle. It sounds very simple, but it's actually a very deep and a heavy thing, because it's what we do on a daily basis and we do it subconsciously. So if we do something repetitively, that is already a pattern.
Habits or patterns, they come from intrinsic needs sometimes. Patterns and habits also start from where we feel like this pattern or habit will fulfill whatever need, and we think it's the best possible way to fulfill whatever that need is. So it could be like when you're depressed, you always want to eat food. So there are people who also like to rely on food when it comes to stress. Or when it's like people who continue to go back to things that they know they aren't good for them, but it just gives them comfort for the short term. I think that's the thing with patterns, habit. It's very tricky. People, they don't realize it's a pattern or habit until something bad happens. So I feel like that's how patterns and habits can form, when you find certain coping mechanisms that aren't the healthiest to overcome that need you have. Oh, yeah.
Boom.
So for the next question, what bad habit or pattern held you back the most, and what made you realize it needed to change?
When it started eating me up, I think that when I started to not feel happy anymore, or I feel like I was being disrespected. I'm also grateful to my friends. I have to thank the people that didn't give up on me and like comforted me during those times where I was going up and down. The people pleasing part, because again, like, it was a mix of like, that's my love language, but then it was just to make them happy. And again, I didn't realize when I'm trying to make them happy too much, I lose a part of myself. I'm not doing things for myself anymore. I barely have time for myself because I'm focused on their happiness. And that's a bad habit to have because now you're gonna blame them or have this resentment when you also took part of that. And again, that may sound hard to accept, but there are actions that you did or that I did to get into those situations, because it's been piling over time and I was just getting very, very tired of it. And also people broke it down for me. That's when I realized like I can't be doing this anymore. I really made the line.
What helped you successfully overcome the pattern or habit?
Have one goal for yourself each day to improve that habit or remove that habit. It's like exercising. It's like you really have to show up for yourself and be consistent on that.
What helped me overcome habits or patterns is to go to the root of it. Like, what started this habit or pattern? Like, what's the essential truth of it? And once you realize the truth of it, it's like, okay, so I started doing this because of that, but now I can change the narrative, or like what reason started that habit, and replace it with something new. When you realize you have a need, or there's something that's causing you to act in a way repetitively, you find a new habit. It's like reprogramming your mind, or like what you do on a day-to-day basis, replacing it with something that is so much better and just more aligned to who you are now. That's what helps me overcome any habit or pattern.
So those are all of the questions for confidence and breaking patterns. I hope this helps you guys. Any last message that you want to share to the audience?
Show some more love for yourself this year. Let go of all things, people, situations that don't serve you. Just live your life and do what you love.
Well, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Click on the notification bell for more of our content. All of our social links will be down below. And we'll see you guys next time. You can do it.
I can do it. We can do it.
Bye-bye.